Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Hey everybody, it's Joe, and back out here at Giga-Texas for the last time in 2024. We're almost at New Year's Day. This is Monday, the 30th of December, and honestly, there's not a lot of activity as kind of I expected. The parking lots are empty. There's nothing really going on. Very minor construction, if anything. So instead, what I'm going to do is give you some images here while I'm talking about what we saw during 2024. There's a lot of changes in this year, and most of which is preparing for a huge 2025, to be honest. And we saw a lot of massive construction here. The South End extension, the giant cooling plant, and all of the cooling pipes for the Cortex supercomputer cluster, which is going to be instrumental moving forward with AI for Tesla and training FSD, and also the Optimus robot. We saw the building of the end-of-line facility on the west side of the highway in something that's much larger called the West Support Facility, the outbound lot, the warehouse on wheels, and of course the Boring Company tunnel that is almost done, and that will be ferrying the Cybertrucks over from the factory. Up on the north side, we saw the baghouse filtration plant and also the melting plant for the casting machine structure. There's been some internal work where more giga presses were installed, and also they put on that casting, sorting, and handling lot on the north side of the factory. And in addition to that, we saw a lot of work going on the inside to prepare for bigger production and expanded production in 2025. So all of this happened in 2024 to get us ready for what we're going to be seeing next year. So without further ado, I'm going to get out of the intro. We'll get into the video. I'll show you what Giga-Texas looks like on this essentially last day of 2024, and we'll get ready for a big 2025. As always, thank you very much for watching along this year and for all the great support. I very much appreciate it. So let's get into the drone and let's fly around one last time in 2024.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning from Giga-Texas. One last time in 2024. Can you believe it's almost 2025? But before we get to that, we can give one more flight around here on the southeast side, looking to the north along Robotic Avenue up to that parking lot, and also the multi-level parking garage on the center of the screen, and the material staging yard to the right of the screen. And of course, a nice view across the main factory back towards downtown Austin. And in between is that West Support Facility with the end-of-line facility coming into view. And of course, the full length of the factory now with the extension on the left-hand side of the screen. And the lighting is just absolutely perfect this time of morning. And we're going to get a lot of great views around the site, despite the fact that there's not really a lot of activity because of the New Year's holiday coming up. And this week, it's pretty much just a down week for Giga-Texas. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some changes, one of which is all the light poles on the left-hand side of the screen and that green grassed section. I've been waiting for those to be installed. Now they are all installed along all of the roads and that grass section. Also, we see more grass has been applied along this berm and kind of this culvert or trench that helps to manage some of the water runoff from the rains. And here's another good look at that water detention pond on the right with water in it because of some recent rains. The material staging yard with some of the last remaining kind of brown pipes, some of the black painted pipes, and the steel corrugated pipes. So all of this has been used in that south end construction, most of which is now completed. The old testing and calibration lot really doesn't have very many vehicles in it at all. Most are just employees taking advantage of the charging infrastructure. As we drive along the roadway towards the south, this is a nice view of what this part of the factory looks like, and the road in between the parking garage on the left and the main factory on the right. I'm going to come back over the parking garage. I wanted to take a look at this clearing just on the south. Again, it's just mostly used with that water tank for water trucks to replenish and then kind of do dust control around the site. As I get back closer to the stamping machine structure part of the factory, I wanted to see if those large crates were still here. Looks like most of them have been unpacked and the materials moved inside. Some of them might be under that kind of white wrapped item that was on the right hand side of the screen. As I zoom in, we see the knockout crews are continuing with the white stain on the wall panels, and the glass company is getting ready to finish up this east side where that tapered line of the windows will make this finally all completed and enclosed. Of course, the plastic around the base of the cooling tower still remains. It looks like there's a small doorway in the middle part of that, and at least two of the fans are operational, as it's most likely that they are, even on a down day, using the Cortex to do some of the training data. Of course, with the light, we can get a view in through the glass, and we're going to see that again in a closer view here momentarily. But one last time, I wanted to get this nice complete shot of the factory from this vantage point and what all the glass looks like on the south end. And I think it's really looking nice, and I can't wait till the roadway is paved on the area right by the glass, and then the rest of the uh, uh, building is completed and what this will look like when it is done. As I fly back over towards the southeast side, a nice kind of a higher altitude view of this corner, that cooling plant, and the glass that has been all installed in the left-hand side of the screen. Looks like there's just the glass parapet wall that is remaining on this part of the building, and then they'll wrap around and finish this other side. Nice close low valve altitude view of all of the pipes, the manifolds, and that plastic section of the ground part of the cooling tower. Nice view here of the wall panels and that stain work that's going on, and of course with the lighting, a view inside this part of the factory. I'll stay down low here as we cross over the three levels of this terraced section. Of course, where the roadway is going to be on the right-hand side of the screen and the walkway in the middle. Also the grass seed, it looks like it is starting to take, and we're seeing more of the green around onto the berms. That will help with the erosion control. A nice view from this southwest corner over towards the end of line facility and some of the materials that are still being staged through this section. I wanted to turn around and come up towards the south bridge just to take a look at this work that is going on near the bridge with the gravel. Now it looks like there's a fence that has been erected around this site, and the roadway goes under the bridge over towards where we're seeing those two cranes and some of the forms. This area is going to be a water treatment plant for Giga-Texas, and some of the tank sections are being prepared for installation. Of course, the West Warehouse on Wheels and over to that outbound lot, which we'll get a closer view here momentarily. But I did want to just take a look at this far southwest corner and then look back at the main factory over the cyber pond and just get a nice last look from this vantage point in 2024. Now, when we get to the new year, I expect not only the roadway on the right and the rest of this parking section be completed, but also this doorway area on the left-hand side of the screen should be completed as well. Not sure what the idea is for that opening, but it looks like it may be yet another main entrance. Perhaps we'll see a Tesla sign on the building here, because that is actually one of the things that is missing still on Giga-Texas, is there's no logo identifying the building, at least to people driving on the highway. As we get closer to this open section with the roadway underneath this part of the factory, did notice that they still have that blank panel on the upper right for the window. I think they're waiting for replacement. And while I have no traffic here whatsoever, I'm going to bring the drone down low and just give you a nice view into this opening. Again, this is a roadway that will allow vehicles with equipment and deliveries to be able to exit. Also, if the tunnel is not functional, then new cars can come out this way. We also see that large strip on the ground, which is a drain for water to help prevent water from going inside. The two blue pumps and some of the concrete pipe sections are still waiting here for installation. And there is some more equipment that is being, or at least rebar that is being moved into the temporary platform and inside that part of the factory. So I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude, pull back over the south extension of the roof. Just a quick look at the way that this is finished up, in that large gray section in the middle, which is over the Cortex cooling system of the factory. And as we approach the highway, this is a nice view across over to that southwest side. And as I bring in closer, this is that area where they're going to be building a water treatment plant for Giga-Texas, and the kind of the form work for what would be most likely a tank, or at least a tank structure, maybe the base structure is on the right, and then we can see that circular depression in the ground where most likely that will be installed. And also a nice view along this new roadway that is well marked up towards the boring tunnel and the end-of-line facility. I'm going to fly over the West Warehouse on Wheels, come up higher to go over the power lines, and just get one last look for this year of this large triangular material staging yard. River Road off to the left, and the contractor parking in the upper center. In addition to that, that large clearing, and then in the distance, downtown Austin. So I expect to see a lot of this material and those transformers in the left-hand side of the screen to be installed on the site in the coming new year. In addition to that, all of this equipment that has been stockpiled in this particular material yard, especially with that fenced off section, all of this I expect to be moved in and started to be installed in the first quarter or into the second quarter of 2025. And much of that is additional production capacity and capability that will most likely be used for production of the Cyber Cab later half of 2025. So still a lot of work remains, but most of the preparation for this was put into place all this year. Of course, these transformers, I expect to see them installed soon, plus all of the rolls and the spools of the cables. I'm curious to see where all of this is going to be installed. As we take a look at the outbound lot, it's pretty clear there's just no production going on. It has not been going on for the last most of last week, and I don't expect a whole lot this week either. Mostly because the new year is on a Wednesday, and to spool up Monday, Tuesday, just to take it down for the holiday and then spool back up for Thursday, Friday is probably not what they want to do. But we'll probably see some resumed activity towards the end of the week as they get ready for next week. A lot of the grass around this water basin is taking root as well. We see quite a lot of green, and As I turn around, this is a nice view of the north end of that end-of-line facility with some additional work in front of the cafeteria on the ground. I wanted to fly along the east side of the end-of-line facility, come in lower, get a nice view of the covered superchargers. All 8 of the canvas tops are installed, and some of the supercharger pedestals have been swapped out with the V4s. See those, the black and white, and then the older, the red and white. And I expect that large field just to the south to be paved and started to be used. Now they're going to have to expand the outbound lot this year because of the increased production that is expected. Not only the Model Y refresh, but also the Cybertruck, some new models, and the Cybercab. I thought this would be a nice view to get down really low over this new roadway and show you what it would be like if you were driving towards the Boring Company tunnel. And as we get closer, this is its current situation. The Boring Company was hoping to get this structure completed before Christmas, but it looks like there's still some electrical conduit to be done, some more of the stainless steel and the window treatments to be installed here. But it does look like a Cybertruck-like daytime running light is being installed at the edge of that structure. And I think it's going to be lit up, so I'm kind of curious what that will be like, and I'll try to do a early morning flight when the structure is completed and everything is lit up so we can see what that will look like. The pedestals on the bottom right, I think, are for a sign, and I will be waiting to see what that will be like once it's completed. As we resume the flight on this side of the highway, wanted to show you the flags at Half-Mast. This is because President Carter passed away yesterday at the age of 100 years old. He was the president of the United States in the middle to late 1970s and went on to do a lot of work with Habitat for Humanity. So they're honoring him today with the flags at Half-Staff. As we fly over the west main entrance and come down to this location, this is where I expect to see a lot of changes sometime in 2025. This is where the Model Ys exit the factory currently with the black ramp, and they've reconfigured the other area where there was a ramp into receiving doors with load levelers. Now, at some point, we will most likely see another Boring Company tunnel being constructed near this location. I also noticed that there's 2 spots on the glass line here, or the window line, that have had the panels removed and these panels installed. And we'll see another one coming up here shortly. I don't know, but it is possible that they did this so that they can load in equipment for additional production. And that may be kind of a temporary loading ramp, or at least a areas they can load equipment sometime in the year. So I'll be watching for that in 2025. This area is rapidly taking shape, has the stairs in the middle. We have what's most likely accessibility ramps on the left-hand side and probably landscape section. They're preparing for concrete on the apron. And just inside there are turnstiles, so it's possible that this is an employee entrance location and security checkpoint that is being made. But that's what it looks like here today. Pretty interesting. Now on the roof section, as you know, they've been doing repairs with all the bricks holding down the material. Last video, we saw them ripping up a large section of the material here where we see the white stripes. Looks like they took the weatherproof membrane up, they took all of the insulation panels and the glue out, and then they replaced it and they put it back down. So that may be the way that they proceed with all of these repairs. And as we fly to the north, I notice that there is more activity here today. What we see is it looks like they are fixing all of the seams and they're doing these striped patterns. Most likely, this is what we will see all along this entire section. Once this is complete, then the bricks will no longer be needed. And then maybe with all of this done, we'll see more of the solar panels installed, which is something that I do expect to see sometime this year as phase 2 of the roof solar panels gets underway. So I'm going to pull up to the north and we'll take a look at other parts of the factory on this side of the site today. The casting, sorting, and management lot is about, I don't know, 1/4 full today, and not a lot of production with castings either over the last week or the weekend. And I don't expect a lot this week. Maybe at the end of the week, we'll start seeing that gearing back up. The concrete section here in front of these 3 receiving doors had been poured, cross-cut, and now we'll see what they do with those new receiving doors with that covering removed. And then next to this receiving door, we saw more concrete was being poured. It is all completed. See the forklift going inside. Some more work with that red fence section for the conduit that goes up onto the roof and down to the Cortex. And then here on this truck, I noticed these deliveries. This looks like it's cylinders for one of the Giga presses. I'm not sure if this is a replacement because something broke, or if this is part of continuing to install additional parts of Giga presses. The last count that I had were 6,000 ton Giga presses and 2 9,000 ton Giga presses. And that may continue to change in the new year. It'll be something I'll monitor. As we bring the drone around the melt center structure, and I'll bring it down lower, this is a nice view in here with the lighting to see what they are up to. This is the furnace charging machine. Looks like the kind of a bin has been completely assembled and is being test fit. And then the rest of the items that are already in place with those kind of black beams. You'll notice a worker coming out from underneath. They were doing some welding. This also gives you a sense of scale of how large these items are. There is work being done on the baghouse filtration plant today, and it looks like this additional assembly of some of the pipes and the connections at that second level. And of course, the pipes that do extend into the factory, they look like at least one of them has that shiny silver kind of wrapping. It may be an insulating part of that pipe as it goes into the factory as well. I'm going to maneuver around the power lines, bring the drones tilt up a little, and just give you a good overall view of this east side of the casting, the backhouse filtration plant, the melt center, and more of the castings on the rack mounts along the berm. This is one of the areas that has changed by far the most over the year. So let's get ready to go up to the electrical switch yard where we see preparations for more expansion of the electrical system. Again, this is all into support the Cortex supercomputer cluster that's being installed in the south end. At the end of 2024, they had about 50,000, maybe 70,000 H100 GPUs installed being used, and the power requirements was about 150 megawatts. But at the end of 2025, they expect that to be nearly 500 megawatts, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing all of this construction and expansion at the electrical switch yard. Part of that is this third control trailer that's in the center of the screen that was recently added. And the new and third transformer that is being assembled, all of the electronic items that will support and allow for the connections with the cabling are being put into place. And a nice view across this area back to the original Megapack site, where I believe we're going to see a second Megapack site installed on the south end. Of course, the A-frames have all been installed. Much of the high-tension wires between the A-frames has been connected, and most of the rest of the steel superstructure has been installed to fill out all 3 of the bays for the electrical switch yard. So this is a great view across this section to the main factory and where we are located on the site. So let's go over to the die shop and the battery cathode plant. This is a nice view of the west side of the battery cathode plant down to the die shop. I do expect in 2025 we'll see this whole area finished off, more of the asphalt, and just try to get that more into a completed look rather than what we see on that west side. On the northeast side, more of the materials being staged, and we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with this red and white bridge crane. and that steel cylindrical item and some of the other equipment. We also see the concrete pipes and some of the steel corrugated pipes, which suggests we'll see some more of the underground water management system installed around this area in the coming year. This is a nice view of the structures and facilities on the east side of the battery cathode plant. And I wonder if we'll see more of the use of the Wade pit in the new year. Haven't heard much about floating Cybertrucks recently. About a year ago, that was part of the discussion about what was going to happen and whether they would be able to float or not. But without much testing, I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen or not. And we'll most likely see a lot of work at the crash test facility in the new year as they start testing new vehicles and models that will be produced here at the factory. So that'll be something to keep an eye out for. As I maneuver the drone to the southeast, I wanted to get a quick view of the two facilities directly from the south, partly because I have a similar view at the beginning of the year and I want to have something to compare with. And another reason is that I noticed that there was a large deliveries being made here in the alleyway to the die shop. You see those large containers on the left and some of the forklifts getting ready to pick them up. There are some crews next to the boxes, which gives you a great idea of the scale. Now what these are DMG MORI milling machines that are being delivered here. Now milling machines are used to help trim some of the castings and to make them ready for production, among a lot of other metal work that can be done within the factory. Now, since this is the die shop and they do a lot of work on the dies for the casting machines, it is possible that they're either doing some testing for either manufacturing, prototyping, or perhaps getting something ready inside this site with the additional expansion inside that I've shown you over the year for maybe some additional production. We'll have to see. The plastic around the chilling plant looks like Mother Nature kind of wreaked havoc on it with some of the winds that we've had recently. So we see a pretty good tear on the facing structure here with all of the plastic. So we'll see if they have to replace that again. Still not sure what the purpose of the plastic is, if it's for either environmental control or if they're doing some testing or some additional equipment installation inside. But this is a good view of what it looks like after some of the high winds here at Texas has taken its toll. So that'll be it for the site here at Giga-Texas and the last view of what it looks like in 2024. As always, thank you very much for watching and being along with this journey with me all year long. 2025 is going to be an outstanding year with a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait to see it and share with you. Take care.